So one of my goals for this year is to make a lot more clothing that I will actually wear and that I actually find lacking in my wardrobe. Not only that, I just want to make more things that are fun and happy to wear and that have just like a little taste of whimsicalness. And so for the first project that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a pair of pink trousers. And that is because I am tired of just wearing jeans all the time and I want something a little bit fun and colorful and bright. So my goals for these trousers is for them to fit nicely and for them to be comfortable and for them to be pink because I'm kind of obsessed with pink lately and I'm very excited about these trousers. So now I have already made the pattern that I'm going to be using today in a kind of spur of the moment thing. I had already planned on making these trousers with a different fabric and then that fabric didn't work out because there wasn't nearly enough. And then I was a little bit sad that I wouldn't be able to make trousers that day, so I ended up making them with a different fabric. And I learned a couple things about the pattern and about the way that they fit. And overall they turned out really well, but just a little bit baggier than what I would like. And so another thing for these trousers that I'm going to do is I'm going to experiment a little bit with pockets because I want these to have lots of pockets because those are very important to me. And not only lots of them, but large pockets. So I'm going to have 2 normal pockets, like, you know, normal pants pockets. Then I'm going to have 2 butt pockets. And then also I am going to do 2 side pockets, like where they would kind of be located on leggings. And I did test this out on my test pair of pants and it turned out pretty well. So I would like to do that again with these. Now, as for fabric, I have this lovely quilter's cotton, and normally I never buy things from like new fabric, but I really want these pants to be nice and I really wanted this exact specific color because this is my absolute favorite shade of pink. So anyway, I'm going to get started on this and I only have a limited time of about an hour and a half or so before Paul is coming over, but I'm going to see how much I can get done in that time span. So to the basement. Okay, so this is the pattern that I'm going to be using. It's a very simple, straightforward pattern. I already have all the pieces cut out. I just want to make them a little bit smaller because the first pair that I made were just a little bit too baggy. And I want these to be a little bit more fitted. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just trim these down and then start cutting out all of my pieces. So with this pattern, one other thing that I'm going to change besides the fact that I just cut it out a little bit smaller, kind of their tripod leg, is I'm going to fold down this top bit just a little because I'm short and this is a very big pant leg for my short legs. So on the other pair of pants I made, the crotch was just a little bit long too. And so I think this will help with that. And I'm also going to, I have it shorten it right here at this line and make it a little bit shorter because I had quite a bit of excess to cut off at the bottom when I was done with the other ones. After ironing all of my pieces, I started working on constructing my pockets. Now, if you're interested in more of an in-depth description of how I made these, check out my overalls videos. I'm just gonna do like a brief overview showing you how I did it. I'm not going to explain everything that I did to make these pockets. So yesterday I only managed to get the pocket, well, part of the pocket done and all the pieces, besides getting all the pieces cut out. But today I have basically the entire day, so I should be able to finish these. So I'm gonna finish the pockets and then start assembling the rest of the pieces together. After I finished constructing the pockets, I sewed the leg panels together using a French seam. This just means that I first sewed the panels together wrong sides together, and then I flipped it around and ironed it, and then sewed another seam. This just encases the raw edges so you don't have to worry about it fraying, and gives it, the entire thing, a really nice finish. So now I've done my really nice French seams. Here's the outside, nice and crispy. So now I'm just going to, I'm gonna take this one that's wrong size out, because I'm gonna try to do a French seam on the crotch seam, which I haven't tried to do before just because it sounded really confusing and intimidating, so I just ended up zigzagging it, but it's just a French seam, I can do it. So I'm gonna take the one that's wrong sides out and put it inside the one that is right sides out. So that way, the right sides will be touching. The wrong sides will be touching. Basically just doing this so I can make sure that it makes sense in my brain and in the fabric. Okay, yes, so this way, the wrong sides are touching, then I will sew it, and then flip it around and sew it again. So while you're watching me sew this crotch seam, I also wanted to talk about another goal I have with sewing this year, and that is just being more intentional. I really want to make sure that I'm making things that I will genuinely like and get a lot of wear out of, which is part of why I made these pants. And I want to put more effort into the little details and making sure that I'm finishing everything to the best of my ability. So yes, I will still be making spoof, just for fun, projects or nonsensical dresses, but even in those, I just want to take the time to make them the best I can and fine-tune my craft even more. It's because I've noticed over the last year in 2023, I got a lot better with making sure that there were no raw edges left over and just putting more effort into making things nice, and I really want to continue that this year. Which is why I am doing the French seam on the crotch seam, even though I didn't really want to, and then I did, and it wasn't a big deal, and I really like the way that it looks, and it just felt very professional to have all of my seams nicely finished. Okay, and there we go. I have sewn a very nice crotch seam, which is an odd thing to be proud about, but I am proud about it. And there we have a proper pair of pants. Nearly. There we go. Alright, so next I'm going to start working on assembling the waistband. Actually, before I could start assembling the waistband, I had to add in 2 little pleats at the front, which I just used the pattern piece as a reference to where the pleats were supposed to be. And now I can do the waistband, which the first step was to take one of the edges of each piece and iron it down and just sew a little straight stitch down it, and that way, once I attach the waistband, this edge will be nicely sealed away. So I ended up taking a break, quite a long break actually, but I got some food and I worked on some Depop stuff for a little bit, and then I went for a walk and then came back and then curled my bangs, and I have about 2.5 hours before I am going to Culver's to meet up with the youth group people. So I'm just gonna do as much as I can before then, and if I finish, cool. If not, I'll have time tomorrow. So as you can see here, I only have my front and back waistband pieces sewn together halfway up, and that is so after I have the waistband attached to the pants, I can just fold the back waistband panel down in half, sew that down, and then I can run my elastic through, and then after that I can attach the front part of the waistband. And this just makes it a little bit easier to get the waistband through. And this was not a method I'd ever seen before, and I was really confused by it. And then I did it, and it actually made a lot of sense. Before I added the elastic in, I decided to make and sew on my pockets, so that way the fabric was just a little bit easier to work with, since it wouldn't be all wobbly from having the elastic in it. And I just made these by sewing 2 pieces of fabric together and then flipping them around right side out and then top stitching them down. Can't show you because I'm recording with my phone, but they're literally perfect phone size. And I did the same exact thing for my side pockets as I did for the butt pockets. So now that I have all of my pockets sewn up, what I'm going to do now is do a top stitch along the top and then a stitch right down the middle of this to be the casing for my elastic. And in this fantastic shot, you can clearly see that I am threading the elastic through the channels. Yep, that's all I have to say about this one. Then I tried on the pants and marked out where the pleats needed to be by just seeing how much fabric I needed to take in at the waist, and then I measured them to make sure that they were even, and after that I just top stitched them down. And lastly, I finished by hemming them, and then they were done. So yeah, I'm so happy with how these turned out. I've already worn them a couple times, and it's safe to say that I'm obsessed. They are the most perfect color, and they're so comfy, and I just love how many pockets there are. The side pockets are fantastic, they hold my phone perfectly, and I'm in love with these. Thank you for watching, goodbye!